Alright, well I'm back at it here with the carburetor again off of the John Deere Sabre mower. And after I showed you guys last time where I took the needle seat out, I got on eBay and was looking for rebuild kits, and I found one that had everything in it that I needed, including the main jet, or emulsion tube as some people call it. So I decided I was going to take this main jet out and see how bad it was. And it's hard to see right here, but the head was actually kind of stripped already, so I couldn't get a screwdriver in there good to remove it. So I drilled it out and tried to remove it with an easy out by hand, an actual cheap little Ryobi extractor. And anyway, I broke that off in this brass jet here, so it was just way too gummed up inside this carburetor body. That brass had oxidized, I guess, and I couldn't get it out with the easy out. Obviously it snapped in half. And anyway, after that, this carburetor was pretty much junk. So I found one local on eBay and picked it up. It was here in 2 days, and it was supposed to be clean, ready to run. Well, it's used. You can't buy these new anymore. I figured it wouldn't be completely clean. Well, it was nasty. So first thing I did was clean it out. Okay, I've already got it installed on the mower. As you can see, you guys are a little late to the party with this video, but nevertheless, this thing was nasty when I got it. So I took all of my good clean parts off of my carb and put them on this one. And now I get it on the lawnmower the other day, try to get this thing running, and it's idle surging real bad. And no matter what I do, I can't seem to get the idle to quit surging. It just constantly will go just revving up and revving down, revving up and revving down, trying to catch itself. And the only place it'll run is with the choke on full, and it spits out black smoke. But at least the needle and seat in this carb are good, so you know it's not leaking gas through anymore. I went ahead and put on this gas shutoff valve so that I could turn the gas off whenever I need to, just in case it did leak like my other carburetor. So anyway, got this thing on and it's surging like crazy, so I took it back off. I've cleaned every part of it, ran wire through the jets, I cleaned the main jet in it. I was able to remove it in this carb and get it all spiffied up and clean, which I'll show you a picture right here. Anyway, this thing's still surging. So what I've done today is drilled out the idle circuit, and I found online, after I was at my wit's end with this thing, that there's a little ball that they press in right here to cover up the idle circuit jet. So I found out online on a page that you can drill this little ball plug out. So I did that, and I removed it with one of these speed out bits. You can see it's a little brass ball that plugs that hole. And now I should be able to run a little piece of wire through this jet. So I'm going to do that live with you guys right here. It's hard to see down in there, but let's see if we can clean this thing out. Doesn't seem to be wanting to go through. It's supposed to have a small hole in it. There it is. It went through. It was definitely plugged all right, because I couldn't see through it. Now I can see what looks like fuel coming up through there. So might spray some carb cleaner down in there. Maybe that'll fix it. I don't know. Now that we've got that cleaned out, I'm going to crank it up and see if it'll start even without a plug in it. You're supposed to plug this hole back up with like a 10-30 second screw and actually thread the hole out. Well, that didn't seem to fix it. And I cleaned that jet pretty thoroughly. So I've got the hole tapped there so I can put a new plug in it. And I temporarily plugged it a few minutes ago with a 4mm screw. And it didn't seem to help anything, so I went ahead and set the governor after I cleaned the jet out, of course. And the governor was fine, nothing was wrong there. I didn't end up tapping this hole to a 1032 because I didn't have a short enough 1032 screw to go in there, so I tapped it to a 4mm instead, which is just a tad smaller, but actually the head on that screw is going to be too big, but the 4mm should work just fine. Okay, so I've got a 4mm screw with a smaller head, which should clear the carburetor body. Putting that in as we speak. Oh, there it goes. I guess it's forced its way in, so now I've got it in there tight. This probably won't help, but we'll go ahead and try to crank it and see what happens. Yeah, the air fuel mixture is way off. I leaned it out quite a bit, and now it doesn't want to run hardly at all, so I may have to fiddle with that a bit. I'll be back.